What's going on, you guys? TBR here, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video, and in today's video we are going to be breaking down the various in-game events that are going to be ending and expiring later on this evening. We're also going to be taking a look at the 118 in-game event notice that went live overnight over on the official forums from CM Yuri. But before we get into all of that and more, make sure if you guys enjoy daily King of Fighters All-Star content that you smash that like button and subscribe, and let's go ahead and get into the video. The first thing I want to talk about is the 118 in-game event notice. Now you guys can take a look at this over on the official forums, link will be in the description, but the first thing you're going to want to take a look at here is going to be this new login bonus event. Now this is going to start late this evening, so as you guys can see, according to what it's listed here, this would basically be 8 p.m. my time, so you guys will need to adjust accordingly. But basically we are going to be able to get a new Ruby login bonus event. Now as you guys can see here, there are going to be a ton of free rubies here. We're going to be able to use these up until the 30th, so that is pretty nice there. We have about 12 days with these things, and typically these are going to coincide with whatever the next banner is. If you guys saw the Saturday chat and chill, link will be in the description, then you would know that we already predicted that this was going to happen this week, and lo and behold, here we are. So usually this is the harbinger of a new banner. If you guys want to know what we predict to be the next banner, link will again be in the description. You can find all that information in the Saturday chat and chill. If you haven't seen it by now, shame on you. So with that being said, we are going to get new Ruby login bonus, which is really cool. That comes later on this evening according to what's listed here. However, there's one other big thing in here that we need to pay attention to, and that is going to be the new Battle Card Carnival event. So as you guys can see, this is also going to go live around the same time. Again, adjust accordingly for your time zone, and it is going to be a Battle Card Carnival event. You guys can see the photo. I'll pop it up on screen here, and as you can see, we are going to be able to get a Boss Syndrome generic memory right in time for the Boss Syndrome events to go away. Great timing. But with that being said, this is a Battle Card Carnival, as you guys can see. So one of the big things you're going to want to make sure that you do, especially considering the fact that this is only going to last for 5 days, is you're going to want to make sure that you take advantage of every avenue you can to collect cards. This is going to mean that we're probably not going to have a banner to pull on in order to do this outside of the unified banner, unfortunately, unless they surprise us with a banner early. So what you're going to want to do, some tips on this. The Battle Card Dungeon, of course, is a huge deal, probably going to be what a lot of people are going to grind for this thing. Another big thing is if you have a bunch of battle cards in your inboxes, do not collect those until this goes live. Historically, collecting those does count points towards this, so keep that in mind. Another thing is there are going to be tokens in the exchange shop currently for battle cards, and that exchange shop, as we're going to outline in today's video, will last for an extra week. So technically you can get 3 tokens a day for the unified card banner from that Rush Dungeon exchange shop, so long as you have enough of the currency to do that over the course of the next week. So keep that in mind. I'll break all that down in today's video when we get into that, but that's another big thing that you could use here. So in general, any way that you can get cards, you want to make sure that you save those today and use those whenever this goes live, because you're going to want that generic memory. This is a pretty exciting thing. However, the timing is definitely not the best. So that's something that you're going to want to keep in mind. We're going to have to roll with it. So anyway, you guys, that's pretty much what we're looking at as far as this is concerned. So we are going to have a new Ruby login bonus that is going to pretty much guarantee that we're going to see a new SS banner more than likely at this point over the course of the next week. And then we have this new Battle Card Carnival event, which is going to give us a BS generic memory as well as the rest of these items. Unfortunately though, there isn't going to probably be a banner that we can pull on with those rubies during the time this is available, unless they do something to surprise us. So with that being said, you guys, that's pretty much going to do it for this in-game event notice. I just wanted to make you guys aware of what was going on. With all that being said, we're going to get into the main points of today's video. So with that being said, you guys know what time it is. Cue that intro. Alright, you guys, so in today's video, what we're going to be talking about is the things that are going to be ending and expiring later on this evening. So as you guys can see, there are about 12 to 15 hours available on this stuff before it is going to be going away as of the time of recording this video. So inevitably, by the time you guys are seeing this, most of the stuff is going to be far closer to its end than not. So first up here, let's go ahead and talk about some of these events. So the first thing that you're going to want to make sure that you guys get done is you're going to want to make sure that you are grinding as hard as possible the rest of the day, if need be, on this rush dungeon. Now, there's a lot of different reasons why you would be wanting to do this. This, in my opinion, is arguably the most important of all of these events that are going to be going away. Now, obviously, you want to make sure that you do your daily clears, especially for the first and the third stage here, so that way you guys can pick up your daily rubies. That is very important. However, one of the most important things here is going to be making sure that you guys have grinded out enough of this currency so that way you guys can go ahead and take advantage of this exchange shop for as long as possible. So the reason why I say that, now, while, as you guys can see, the rush dungeon is going to end in 12 hours and 34 minutes from me making this video, if you go into the exchange shop, you're going to notice that, like most rush dungeon exchange shops, we're going to have an additional 7 days. So we have an entire week with this rush dungeon exchange shop. So you're going to want to make sure that you grind out as much of this material to go in here and pick this stuff up as possible. There's a lot of really valuable items in here, and I would argue that almost all of it is worth buying each and every single day. So that's why I went ahead and I grinded out as much as I could on this, because I wanted to make sure that I could go ahead and pick these things up as much as possible over the course of that 7 days. So that is the first thing that I would definitely recommend to you guys. Try to make sure that you do as much as you can to try and ensure that you can go ahead and at least pick up the items in here daily that you would like to pick up for an additional week. And that is going to be the biggest thing there. Now, of course, these cards here I've already bought, but if you guys haven't gotten these cards, these gold gain cards, you can buy 3 sets of these. Make sure that you try and get all 3 sets if possible. That is a very, very good set, and it is going to help you net a ton more gold than you normally would without it. So that is something you want to make sure that you guys try and get taken care of today. Like I said, make sure you're grinding your rush dungeon and using those items in that exchange shop. Now, another big reason why you want to make sure that you are doing that rush dungeon is going to be the New Year Roulette event. Now, this New Year Roulette event ended up being one of the best overall roulettes we've had in a very, very long time. However, I'm not going to get into a review of this stuff. Instead, make sure that you guys are grinding on that rush dungeon, because that is going to be primarily where you're going to pick up a lot of these tickets for this. That way you can go ahead and pick up some of these gold bags. And of course, these gold bags are going to have a ton of rewards in there that you're going to want. This stuff is very, very important. That way you can go in and you can craft those items. Now, one big thing you're going to notice is you have 7 days on these gold bags, so you don't necessarily have to worry too much about them. So if you go in here to this section, in the craft section, you're going to notice that we have a week to craft this stuff. That means that if you guys do go ahead and hold on to those, you're going to be able to use them over the course of the next week. So you don't necessarily have to worry about using those today, but you want to make sure that you at least grind as many of those as you can on that rush dungeon, because that's primarily going to be what you can use to come in here and pick up a ton of these boxes for some of these more sought after moonstones and starstones, because this stuff does not come along very regularly. So this is something that you want to take advantage of while we have it. So that is going to be something that is very important that you guys do. Like I said, if you take a look at these, they have 7 days remaining, and as you guys just saw, you have 7 days to craft. So that is something that you want to keep in mind. The next thing that you want to make sure that you take care of today is going to be to go in here, if you haven't already done so, and go ahead, build up either BS Ash or BS Nameless, and pick all of these items up that you can, if possible. So that is something else that you guys are going to want to make sure that you take care of today. Now, one other thing that of course you're going to want to make sure that you pay attention to is going to be the fact that the banners themselves are also going to be going away. So if you guys are planning on going in on these banners, you need to make sure that you get that done today. This is the final day to do so. Now, of course, by proxy of the fact that this is the final day for these, that would also mean that if you go into your secret shop and you go into your shop for your boss syndrome packages, this is also going to be the final day for these packages. So if there were any of these packages that you guys were planning on picking up, then you'll want to do that today, because those are going to be going away, and that is something else you'll need to pay attention to. Another thing that you want to pay attention to is if you picked up any of these passes and have not collected your rewards or have not been grinding properly, today is the final day for you to get as much out of this as possible. However, something to keep in mind, because this comes up a ton, people always ask me, can I go ahead and purchase these things after after the fact and be able to still get the rewards on the final day? Yes, you can. If you go in here and look, it'll actually show you given special rewards upon unlock, and it's everything that's available in the pass, and it's going to be the same way if we take a look at the whale pass as well. So basically, it always keeps track of your progress no matter if you have these things or not, which means that you can pick these things up even on the last day, and if you've been playing the game, then you will be able to get the rewards. So that is another thing that you want to pay attention to there, you guys. That's very important for those of you who are big on those. If you go ahead and take a look here, you're going to notice that you will have the currencies that are going to be expiring listed as well. Now, of course, this time around, all we have is going to be the roulette tickets because the roulette itself is going to be going away as mentioned. So you don't have to worry again about those exchange items for your exchange shop for the rush dungeon. That isn't something you have to necessarily worry about because you're still going to be able to go ahead and get those, but you have to make sure that you roll on that roulette board. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do so once this thing expires. So that is pretty much going to be that stuff. Now, other things that are going away are of course going to be the time attack challenge. This has been a MVP of this entire update. I have gotten so many extra rubies over the course of the past couple of weeks using this. I hate to see this thing go, and I hope this is something they do again. However, there is no guarantee on that, but make sure that you guys do this today and get those extra rubies. That's something that's very important, and you want to make sure that you don't forget that. And then finally, the last one of these events that is going to be going away is going to be the 2 Souls event. Now, this thing here basically dictates that you're going to need to have either BS Ash or BS Nameless in order to finish it. However, if you have either of them and you've been putting this off, make sure that you guys do this today because these items in here are phenomenal. You want to make sure that you do that because you are going to get handsomely rewarded for using these guys in here and getting finished with level 30 especially, because as you can see, you're going to get that boss syndrome fighter summon ticket, and that is chock full of value there as well. So there's a lot of stuff ending today, you guys. You want to make sure that you take advantage of. Now, the other thing in here that I noticed is the story mode is listed as expiring, but I get the feeling that's just because that tab is expiring. I don't think this is going anywhere. As you guys can see, there's no timer listed or anything like that, so I don't really know what's going on as far as why that's listed there, but I wouldn't worry about that too much. I just know somebody's going to bring that up in the comments section if I don't mention it since it's listed here. But anyway, you guys, that should pretty much wrap that up. Now, one last little miscellaneous thing here. If you do have a pity ticket for either of these characters or any of these cards, you don't necessarily have to worry about using that up for now. Those do not expire. So like you guys had seen, I can't show you now because I already redeemed it the other day, but I had a special signature volume 3 selection card pity ticket thing, and I had been sitting on because I really didn't need to use it. And so the other day I went ahead and finally used that, and I used it for the Kula option card, another copy of that. So, you know, basically you guys, you don't have to worry about your pity tickets or anything like that so much if you're still sitting on those for whatever reason. That is one last thing. Oh, and before I forget, kind of an aside, and this is something that's probably not that big of a deal, but just so you guys are aware, this guy right here is also going to be going away. So if you're planning on crafting a generic boss syndrome memory, make sure that you guys do that today as well. Otherwise, this thing will be going away and you won't have a shot at a generic for a while. So that is pretty much going to cover all of the events that are ending, you guys. I figured I would go ahead and let you all know what was going on since this is kind of an important day for this stuff. So I hope you guys found this informative and you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe for daily King of Fighters All-Star content. And until the next one, you guys take care. Peace.
Continue.